Good morning, Hartsville Pike family and friends. Perhaps we've all heard the saying, you can't go home again. Well, in some ways, that is probably true. But in the most important way, it's not true. I heard a story one time about a mother and a daughter. The mother's named Maria, the daughter's named Christina. They lived in a third world country, very poor, lived in a one-room hut with a dirt floor, scant furnishings. Maria tried her best to raise her daughter Christina the best she knew how. But as Christina began to grow up, she realized that she had a very independent spirit, that she longed for the big city. She wasn't content just to stay in the small village where they lived. As she grew up, Maria worried that she would be able to keep her at home or nearby. Christina becomes a teenager, and one day Maria gets up and Christina is gone. She knew where she had went, as she had often talked about, the big city and wanting to go there. And it broke Maria's heart because she knew what Christina would probably have to do to survive. So Maria grabbed what few coins she had and she goes down to the village drugstore. She sits in one of those photo booths and has her picture taken over and over and over again until she has just enough money for a ticket to the big city. She boards the bus, she gets to the big city, and she goes all over town into those places where she knows that her daughter is probably going, and it breaks her heart. She goes all over town into those places, and everywhere she goes, she puts on the wall one of her pictures. She did not see Christina in the big city, and as she ran out of money, she boarded the bus and returned home, wondering, would she ever see her daughter again? Wondering how she was doing and wondering even if she was still alive. A few weeks, months later, a young lady descends a staircase in a hotel. It's not one of the better hotels. She is haggard looking, her clothes and hair in disarray, dark circles under her eyes, dress torn, very sad look on her face, and she slowly walks down the steps, weakened, as if she could fall at any moment. And as she nears the bottom of the stairs, she sees a picture on the wall. She goes over to the picture and her breath catches in her throat as she realizes this is my mother's picture. And she wonders what it's doing here. And then she takes the picture down and she looks at it for a moment, and then she turns it over. And on the back is written, no matter what you have done, no matter what you have become, I love you. Please come home. And Christina went home. Like the prodigal in Luke 15, all of us, perhaps from time to time, venture into the far country. And aren't you thankful we serve a God who, like the Father in Luke 15, welcomes the prodigal home. The Father in Luke 15 is representative of God who continually looks for us when we venture into that far country. And when we make up our mind to return home, He welcomes us. He even runs to greet us as the Father did in Luke 15. And it's significant that older men didn't run in those days because it wasn't good manners or wasn't respectable. But His love for His Son was far more important than the rules of society in that day. Charles Hodge says there was a path worn to the highest hill on that farm where the father would go frequently to look and see if this was the day in which the son would return home. And when he saw him on that day returning home in such a shape that only a father could recognize a son, he ran to him, he wrapped his arms around him, he welcomed him home. Aren't you thankful we serve a God who will welcome us home? We can go home again because we serve a God who loves us. And because He does, let's make it a wonderful day.